Hey, happy Wednesday. It's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, folks. This is DJ Straight coming to you live from Praise from the Closet. And you can always, don't forget, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and hit share. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel because we have a lot of exciting shows coming up on this week. I mean, we have more shows tonight and tomorrow and Friday, Thursday, we have a show about teaching Black voters specifically. Here's our information. Praise from the Closet. You can give us a call at 202-322-2470, or you can email us a Gospel Music Lovers Buffet. And our guest already has a fan club. I see people already waiting. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, you can also go to our radio station, WGMLB.com, and hit listen live. You're going to hear inspirational music 24/7. Gospel, classic gospel, hip hop, rap, bluegrass. If it's inspirational, I even have a Michael Jackson song on there because I think that was an inspirational song. So today we have a special guest. She is multi-talented. I had an opportunity to talk to her just briefly about her career and what she retired from. And I said, we got to come back and talk about that. But today I'm going to talk to the entrepreneur part. See, the career was she was getting paid to do that because that was her livelihood. But now, as an entrepreneur, she's getting paid because this is something that she wants to do. And she's passionate about serving people. So when I connected her career, what she retired from, and what she's doing now, she is very passionate about serving people, informing people, and helping people. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, I'm gonna put an audience of one inside Praise from the Closet studio. I am going to bring on our guest all the way live from the East Coast, from Maryland, Miss Kesha Marshall. Hello, welcome to Praise from the Closet with DJ.
Hi.
You're looking beautiful today. I'm dolled up and everything. Going to the virtual Zoom. With you go. That's great. So listen, before we even get into talking about, because we're going to talk about your notary business, the insurance business, which are all very, very important. Tell us a little bit about Kesha.
Okay, my name is Kesha Marshall, and I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. I stumbled upon the passion of helping people just by needing a job, basically. I have 4 kids. I have 4 grandchildren. I've been married for 4 years in June. Like you said, I'm newly retired. August 28th, to be exact, 2020.
Okay.
So now this is my entrepreneur passion phase, changing lives phase of my life, and I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Since you have that passion, when you were younger, did you line up your doll babies and play with them, or did you try to play nurse? No?
I had no dolls. I wasn't a kid.
Where does passion come from? Because most of the time when people are in some type of servitude job, something struck it. So what struck it? Struck that, or the light bulb go off, or the commercial. It had to be eight. So what was the moment?
The moment was the late 90s, and my younger 2 kids, I think they were probably maybe 1 or 2, and I needed a job. I would look through the classified ads, and I saw all of these job openings for certified nursing assistants, and I didn't know what that was. And one day on the subway, I saw some students, and I asked them some questions about how long the class was, where were they taking their course. It was 4 weeks, and I don't remember the dollar amount, and I'm quite sure I borrowed the money or got it from my dad. Same thing. So, and once I started, that last 4th week was a clinical at a nursing home, and I really enjoyed it. And that's when that light bulb, came on, that wow, this is something that I really enjoy doing, was helping people.
Okay. So very good. All right. So that's the career part because I told you I want to bring you back to talk about that part.
Yeah.
Today, let's talk about the notary business that you have and the insurance.
Hmm.
What is a notary and what types of notaries are there and what are you specialized in as in notary services?
So a notary is an officer of the state, and what we do is we notarize different types of documents. You have government documents. You have powers of attorney. You have real estate documents, and I found out that I could be a mobile notary. And
Okay.
being a mobile notary, I can go to people's homes, I can go to title companies, I can pretty much notarize anything. In the state of Maryland, you have to have a title insurance producer's license to go along
Okay.
with your notary commission in order to do real estate documents. And that's kind of where the money is in the real estate documents and hooking
Mhm.
up with different title companies, because the title company may be in Pennsylvania, but the buyer or the seller is around the corner from me. So they'll call and say, Kesha, are you available this day? This is the fee. If I don't agree with the fee, we can negotiate that. And they send me the documents. I go to people's homes and I have a great time sitting with people just conversating about regular stuff. It just amazes me,
So you're
how,
being a psychiatrist at the same time that you signing papers. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So listen, in order to become a notary, what was that? What process did you have to go through?
You would have to go to the Department of Secretary of State's website. There is an application, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I did, because I live in Calvert, so I did it for Calvert County.
Hmm.
And the fee is $11, and they'll send you, I think they do a brief background check, and they'll send you a letter approving your application, and then you make the appointment and go down to the circuit court, and they swear you in and give you your certificate right there.
Okay. So listen, while I'm talking to Miss Marshall, Keisha Marshall, I'm going to put her contact information down there in case somebody wants to reach out to her. So, is it wise to notarize your own family documents? Can you notarize family documents?
No.
Not within your immediate family or your third and fourth cousin down the line, a little boo bear. You can't notarize any family
I
document.
believe it's just your immediate family.
Okay.
I know people do it because a lot of times we don't have the same last name, but according to Maryland state law, no, you're not supposed to notarize family documents.
Okay. So, in order to become a notary, that means you had to be well versed and you had to read a lot of information so that you would know the laws and the rules and apply.
Yes, yes. The state of Maryland just revised their notary handbook in October of 2020, and from what I understand, I that was when I became a notary in May of
Mhm.
2020. So, from what I understood from other notaries before me, that there were a lot of changes, but it was new to me, so it was fine.
So, have you ever had to tell somebody, I can't notarize that document because something wasn't
Yes. Mm-hmm.
what are you looking for when you're notarizing? Uh-oh, she's frozen in time. She'll be, excuse me, I'm getting ready to call. She'll be back in a moment. But again, having a bona fide notary is very important because those documents that the notary sign, they have a lifelong implication. And we're going to talk about what she does as a notary. And I want to hear some of the information that she has notarized before. Because again, when you ask somebody to notarize something, they are literally putting their name on documents that you have either put together or that you have collected. And when they're representing you, they want to make sure that what they're signing is not going to jeopardize what they're notarizing. Again, you're listening to I'm thinking I'm on the radio. You're watching DJ Straight on Praise from the Closet, and we have the pleasure of talking today to Miss Kesha Marshall, who is a notary and who also has an insurance business. She is an underwriter, and I'm waiting for her to come back on. But when you get documents notarized, it's always best to keep that main document in a set place and then make copies of that document. And why do you make copies? You want to make copies so that you can have that copy, but most places will need the original copy, and some places may take a copy, but it's important to have that seal. It's important to have the expiration date on there. And when you have your documents notarized, always make sure that they are in uniform. And I'm going to ask Miss Kesha about that when she returns back on. I think she was having some technical difficulties. And again, it's important to have a notary. And the good thing about her business is, even with COVID, she will come to you. She will come to you and notarize what it is that you have. I was just telling them about that you will come to them and notarize. So before we were disconnected, you were telling me
No
what
sound.
what is you're on. What are some of the things that what are some of the
I
documents
can hear.
that you look for? Okay, she can't hear me. This is what happens when you're live. Check your mute. We want to find out. Let's see. Check your mute. Yes. I want to find out from her what are some of the documents. What are some of the documents that she notarized? And are you back now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Very good.
apologize about that. Oh my goodness.
Hey, that's okay. I was rolling. I know how to add lib because I was telling the truth. So
I appreciate you for that.
yeah, what I was saying to them was, one, you were motorized, so even during COVID, you were able to come to people and get their information notarized. But I wanted to know what people should have when they're asking you to notarize. What are you looking for? That's the second question. And what is some of the strangest stuff you've been asked to notarize legally?
Okay, so what you should have when you ask someone to notarize, you should have, if you don't have the documents already, you should know what the documents are. If you have the documents, look where the notary is supposed to sign and stamp, and kind of give the notary how many notarizations, because that, among other things, will determine how much that notary's fee is going to be. Have a valid driver's license, or passport. You can use your driver's license and your social security card if it requires two forms of ID. You can, a lot of times you have to do copies of your IDs. So do not have a military ID, because it is against the law for us to take copies of military IDs. And also, I guess one of the strangest, I really haven't had any strange documents. Everything has been pretty much cut and dry.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
never had to sound like somebody wanted to go buy elephants. You never had to get that
no.
notice. Let me ask you this. Suppose that you come to me. I don't have a driver's license. I may have my social security card. I don't have access to a Xerox machine. Do you have all of that when you come? And the reason I'm asking is because as you are driving to a location, and do you have time to drive back and forth to have the people to get things, or you talk to them ahead of time? And do you have to read every piece of paper that you're notarizing?
Okay, so,
Don't let me put you on the spot now.
oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I am here to inform. It's okay. So, if you only have a social security card, you are required to have, it can be a non-driver's, something that is government issued as far as a photo ID.
Okay.
It has to be within date. It has to, it can't be expired. What was your other question?
My other question was if they don't have, because you said they needed copies, if they don't have access to a copy machine at their house, are you able to do that on the spot for them? Or what, suppose they needed a one notarized copy and then they may need 4 copies of whatever you notarized.
So what I normally do is if they don't have a copy machine and they express that to me before we get to the appointment, I'll
Mhm.
just have them to scan a copy of their photo ID and email it to me, and I'll copy it when I before I get to
Before you get there.
the
Okay.
appointment. Sometimes some things happen where I get to the appointment and they're not able to find their copy of their ID. So what I normally do is I use the scanner app on my phone and I'll scan the ID, and I'll just have to make an extra trip home to print that out. And sometimes it depends on, especially if you're working with a title company, they may
Mhm.
ask you to scan the documents back before you mail them off. So if it's an instance where I have to go back home to scan the documents anyway, um, that's fine.
So what made you want to notarize? Because it sounds like it's a lot of document reading, driving, and knowing the rules and the laws. What made you want to get into being a notary?
I always wanted to be a notary. I had two friends who were notaries, and then my dad was a notary. The
Mhm.
only deal breaker for me was at the time it was $2 per notarization, but I was watching a podcast. I'm a YouTuber. So I was watching a podcast on a notary loan signing agent. And I said, oh, wow, I can do that. And
Okay.
the the fees that you know title companies were offering was $100, $95, even up to $250. And I said, okay, yeah, I can do that. it,
Okay.
it just takes quite a bit of paper and ink, but you factor that in as a business person into your fee as well, and travel time.
Okay. Very good. So I'm going to come back to notary, but let me segue into the insurance
Okay.
because some insurance documents need notaries. So one of those questions after we talk a little bit is going to be, can you be your own notary on insurance that you have? So what type of insurance do you provide?
So I specialize in the regular life insurance, term whole life, and universal life. Also, mortgage protection and retirement solutions. And the policies that I write, they normally don't have to be, well, they don't have to be notarized. If they during the process do get notarized, I'm not able to do it.
Okay. So if I needed insurance,
Mhm.
how would I know about how much insurance that I needed? Say I wanted life insurance.
Okay.
How do you and maybe just say you may want to think about, because what I don't want to do is put you on the spot to
Oh no,
say, because see, I put my disclaimer up, so I have to be careful how I ask questions, but explain the difference between the term life and the whole life and some other type of insurances that people may think that they need just for somebody who say, "Oh, I just want life insurance," or "I want insurance for when I die. I want my house to be paid off." So
okay.
tell me the different types of insurance that there are that you have that you can provide.
Okay, so term life pretty much is basically temporary. So how I approach it with people is when they say, I want life insurance.
Mhm.
Okay, well, what do you want life insurance for? What do you want the life insurance to do for you? And they'll say, well, I want $100,000 in life insurance. Okay, so now next question is, Would you like for it to be temporary, or would you like for it to be permanent? So temporary is um, the temp life insurance, where you'll get $100,000, and I'm just using $100,000 as an example.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get $100,000, say, for 30 years. At the end of that 30 years, one or two things will happen. Your coverage stops, and now you're 30 years older. So now you have to get new coverage at the age that you are now, which will probably be a lot more expensive, or it will turn into what is called annual renewing, which every year it renews, and every year that it renews at the age where you are. So the amount goes up, or it may renew every 3 years or every 5 years. But either way, you're still paying more. And it's really not, well, this is my opinion part, is really not doing a whole lot for you. Basically, what I recommend with people when they kind of really don't know what they want to do, okay, so we're going to set up just a term policy just so you can have something, because you can have a term policy with a higher face amount and a lower premium payment. So that's how I do that. If you're looking for something as far as final expense or burial or something more permanent, that's
Mm-hmm.
when we go to the whole life platform. And with whole life, the face amount is a little lower and the premiums are a little higher. Um, Whole life, pretty much the cap is about 50,000. So some people are like, okay, well, I just need final burial and, to pay off some bills. And that's fine. And the whole life also, throughout the years, you'll have it till you're about 102. Some policies say 120. And during that time, what it does, it accrues a cash value on it that you can borrow against tax free. So that is another positive component with that. So the other type is universal life. So with universal life, it's permanent. Um, the face amounts are a little higher. You can do a face amount as high as $50,000. The premiums are flexible as long as you have enough money to keep the policy in effect. And those also accrue cash value as well, and you'll have that through the duration also. So, mortgage protection is a type of what they call decreasing term. It
Mm-hmm.
it goes along with your mortgage. So as you pay your mortgage, the lower your mortgage get, um, your mortgage protection goes down with it. So in the event that something happens to you, your house will be paid off, or you can set it up where whoever's still in the house, spouse or loved ones, will have money to continue to pay the mortgage.
Okay, so is this specifically for the type of insurance that you sell? Because the only reason I want to kind of correct is because I know you can get policies and up into the hundreds and thousands, things of that nature. But again, it's going to cost you more. So capping it, you said something about capping maybe at 50,000, but the more you get, the more that you're going to need. So what is your advice about to people about perhaps thinking about getting insurance while they are, still able to pay their premiums at a comparable price versus if I'm 78 and I know that I have a sickness,
Mhm.
what's the benefit of me buying insurance?
Well, the benefit of you buying insurance is because, well, there's several. Excuse me. The first benefit is that you don't want to leave your family without, just high and dry and doing GoFundMe's and stuff like that to bury, and also to, yeah, not you, but
No, no, I'm saying no, no. I was saying GoFundMe wasn't made for funerals and certain events, because what most people don't know, and what I tell people is GoFundMe. If you saying your goal is 10,000 and you raise 10,000, you don't get 10,000. They take a percentage. You may get 8,000, you may get 8,500, all depends. So I try to tell people don't do the GoFundMe part. But again, if I already have some issues going on, would I be able to get a policy at 72 and the doctor told me, hey, you only have 12 months to live, and I have that $50,000 policy, am I going to get my $50,000? I really want to get it.
So yes. So if you get insurance, they do have insurance that is guaranteed. There are no health questions or anything like that. It is a little more expensive, and the face amounts aren't that high. You probably can get maybe 10, 15,000 in that respect. For maybe $100 to $200. Now, if you have a condition that is just going to be denied, because we do have guidelines, which is why a lot of us call ourselves underwriters more so than insurance agents, because we do have access to those guidelines and what carriers will accept you and what carriers will not. But there's always a carrier that you're able to fit in to get insurance. Nowadays, it's just not, oh, okay, well, you got diabetes. No. Well, you have, high blood pressure and you got bag full of medications. No, it's not like that at all anymore.
Okay.
It's more geared toward living benefits, which is that chronic, critical and terminal illness that you can utilize your policies for.
Okay. Well, we have a question. And I'll display it on the screen. What is the youngest age that someone should acquire life insurance?
As early as possible, because there are policies, especially with the universal life, that start at 1 year old.
That's true.
That's the only thing that child will need for the duration.
That is true, because I know from personal experience, if you purchase the insurance when a child is younger or a person is younger, then that grows with them. And again, you just never know what items are going to cost. So it helps to have that type of insurance. So what's the benefit? Suppose I get a term policy for $400,000 for 40 years. But then I find in my payments, I'm gonna watch the commercial. You mean $9.95? But suppose after I'm getting close to that to that 30 year, am I still going to be able to renew that term? I'm going to lose that money. Can I convert it over to whole life? Tell us kind of how does that work for people who are thinking, oh, I can get all this money for term and it's real cheap.
Okay, so you can renew it. It's called a convertible policy that at that 30 years or 40 years, it will convert to a whole life, but it doesn't convert to the whole life for the whole 400,000. It only converts to the whole life 10% of that. So you're only getting 40,000.
So I have lost, where are my math skills? I have lost $360,000 after all of these years.
And premium payments. Because during that 30 and 40 years, that term policy is not accruing any cash. So yeah.
So from just a viewer, as I'm gonna be a viewer for a moment. So as a viewer, it may be best for me to have a term policy, which is inexpensive in case something were to happen, and then also maybe consider the whole life, a universal life, because that'll be guaranteed. Because I do know people that had term life insurance, and they are, pretty well in age, and they have lost those policies because they beat the term. And absolutely. I guess their person didn't tell them that you may want to think about converting this over, because now you're converting over is going to cost you $190. And if I'm on a fixed income, then I don't want to pay that $190. So what are some of the other options as far as insurance that we can, people can think about?
Just go with the straight with the whole life and universal life. Now, if you some people are strapped for cash, I get it, I understand it, been there myself. So that $200 policy for $20 a month, that's going to work for me right now, and that's fine. I'll keep checking back with you, or you give me a call if something changed within your income, and we probably can get something different as far as whole life or universal life, or start you off with something universal life, just so that you're able to cash in on that accrual of money that's there.
Okay, so kind of tell me the benefits if I borrow against my policy and the negatives about borrowing against my policy.
So hmm. So there, well, you're so the positive is that you can you can borrow against the money, but you don't have to pay it back, and it's tax free, and it'll always accumulate cash. You just won't, once you borrow all of it, you just have to wait till it builds back up, if that makes sense. You'll still have your face amount in place, and with universal life, or the more permanent policies, your after some years, your face amount will go up also, along with your cash value. Now, I would say the negative is that the cash value doesn't start accruing until the third year. So it's not like it's automatic. So it's kind of like having a house and you're building up equity within
Mhm.
that house. Um, yeah, it's just a waiting period to wait until that cash value um, accrues.
Okay, so I have another question coming for you. Can a person have more than one term and or whole life insurance, especially for veterans?
Okay, that's a good question. And yes, so with veterans, when you retire from the military, it's called VGLI, and it's something that you have to elect into within the first 120 days of you retiring from the military or separating from the military. And it's not automatic. You physically have to, to get that. And after that 180 days, you're no longer eligible for the veterans life insurance. So you'll just be getting, a standard regular policy, whether term, whole life, because I have many policies myself. So I have a term life policy, and I also have a whole life policy, and I'm looking into getting a universal life.
Okay. All right. So I have background in HR, and I tell people every 5 years you need to go back and check out your beneficiaries, because you may have a girlfriend and now you got married and you leave that girlfriend's name on there, and as soon as something happened, they come into that job looking for that money. Or you have a wife and you have a mother. And these are true examples that
Hmm.
you never took the mother's name off, and the wife and the mother, they're gonna tug because that was my son, that was my husband. So
Exactly.
what's how to explain to people, especially for insurance, any type of insurance, the importance of having not only the primary beneficiary but having the secondary beneficiary.
Okay, so those two are very important, because your primary is the person that the money goes to first. Now, you can have primary and two contingents,
Mhm.
and but you have to, if you have a primary and a contingent, you have to split those shares up. You can't have a primary at 100% and a contingent at 100%, or a contingent is zero. It's no point in their name being there. So you would have to do 50-50, 60-40, 80-20, however you want to split the two. I would say put your primary someone who you know is responsible and is going to carry out what you need them to carry out as you wish that they would. If something happens to that primary, that contingent is the next in line.
Okay, so then if that's the case, then why wouldn't you put a primary at 100, and if they pass, then the contingent would get that same 100? Why?
Well, suppose you pass and the primary and the contingent is still there.
Right. So if I pass, the primary gets it, and then if when I pass that the primary is no longer there, then the contingent should get it, right?
So how that works when people have say they have 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the kids will be a primary and the other 2 are contingents. All 3 can't be primaries. So in that respect, you're going to leave money to all 3 children. So therefore, you're going to split the shares between all 3.
Right. So you'd have 3 primaries, one having 30.33%, 30.33%. So it has to equal the 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to.
So it's a primary. It's 1 primary and it's 2 contingents. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to. No, seriously, because when we get information, we want to make sure that it's accurate. So if you have 3 children, you can evenly split up that 100% in 33.33.33, and then each one of those 33.33.33 will have a contingent, because that's how it is. Okay.
No.
Well, okay.
Yeah, your beneficiaries are your beneficiaries. They may have separate policies on their own and have their own primary contingents, but it's not contingents on you, if that makes sense. The contingents don't have contingents on your policy.
Okay. I will table this. I'm gonna tell you, the only reason why is because, and I'm being honest, by being, like I said, been in HR for a good while, I've seen where people have done primaries and they've done contingent, a first contingent, and a second. And maybe it depends on the type of policy that you have.
Absolutely.
That's where the clarification comes in. Because maybe your TSP, you can do a beneficiary, a first contingent, second contingent, or if you have Globe Life, maybe you can just do a primary and then a contingent. But suppose, suppose once you died, say if you passed on a Monday, your primary died that Monday afternoon, and then that contingent passed on that Tuesday. What happens with the finances?
It goes to the state, I'm assuming. It's nobody to collect.
Okay.
I haven't run into that yet.
Well, one thing I said is because I know stuff happens, and that's why I always tell people to make sure that you look at your beneficiaries on a regular basis, just to make sure, because you might be mad with Lil Boo Boo, or you might be mad with Stevie, and here you've left Stevie $135,000, and all Stevie going to do is gamble it, waste it, smoke it, give it to other people, and you thinking, man, I went to work and I put it with crazy foolishness. I don't want him to have that anymore. So then you may want to update and take Stevie off, and maybe just leave Stevie $10 if you leave him anything at all. So that's the importance of having it. So again, I wasn't trying to trick you, but I want to make sure that we present clarity. So it depends on the type of policy you have. So how do you go about getting clients? Is it word of mouth? Do you have a website? How you advertise? How do you get clients?
I usually do word of mouth. I ask my warm market. I get referrals from my warm market as well. Yeah, I pass out business cards. I door knock and ask, "Hey, do you need insurance?" Um, Pass out my cards, and it's been really good.
Good. Okay. So this is DJ Straight again coming to you live from Praise from the Closet. And our guest today is Miss Kesha Marshall. And she is a notary and an insurance. Well, this is like some of her jobs. Because I'm sure she has some other adventures that she is doing as well. But it's very good to get clarity and to understand the importance, one, because going back to the notary, talk about some of the places where they will only accept the official notary and the official raised stamp versus maybe somebody that just you can give a copy of a notary to. Can you kind of give some type of places where you may need that, or is that a case by case basis?
It's a case by case. It's a case by case basis, and it's. I think that part of it. I really don't deal with. It has
Okay.
to do with whatever the instructions was given to the person that I'm notarizing the document for, and it's pretty much basically having them to do an oath and affirmation that
Okay.
their name, they're the person whose name appears on the documents, and you're voluntarily signing these documents, and you understand pretty much what you're signing,
Hmm.
and getting their ID and making sure that they are who they say they are. And really, I'm witnessing their signature.
Now, have you ever had to turn someone down who wanted insurance?
No.
Okay, because I know some people, because maybe there's some health issues that they're unable to acquire insurance, or it may be, it may be too much. It may just be too much.
So I'm an independent. So what that means is you have an independent, you have two types of agents. You have independent and you have captive. The captive agents is your single carriers, like your State Farm, um, Liberty Mutual. So with me, I'm independent. So I'm able to work with over 20, 25 carriers.
Oh,
So if I'm captive and your medical history doesn't fit within whatever Keisha's insurance company is, then I have to decline you. But me being an independent, I can go through several of them and find me like, okay, bingo, they'll take you.
so what states are do you can you cover? Just in case you have somebody.
I cover Maryland, South Carolina, and North Carolina.
Okay, very good, very good. So let's go back to the childhood thing. If you had to go back to 10 years old and you were looking at yourself now, what would you tell yourself? What would you have told yourself then about where you are now, career wise, and just what you're
Okay.
doing now, the entrepreneurship? What would you give? How kind of advice would you give yourself?
I would tell that 6 year old Keisha, you know, the world does not revolve around you. You have to let other people in. Stay positive, stay focused. It'll be fine. Joy comes in the morning.
Okay, this has been good. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this plug in now. Keisha Marshall was talking about the notary and the insurance. And I am definitely an advocate of having insurance. So I'm going to put up this website. It's called handleyourbusiness.cc. And since we're talking about this, I'm a book author. This book right here, it's called It's Not About Me, It's About Them. And the book has a picture of me sitting in the mirror, looking in the mirror, and I see all people. Because when I shut my eyes, it's no longer about me because I'm not going to be able to tell you what to do. So
Mhm.
that book has some funny stories, some serious stories. It asks questions. It's going to help you provoke So it's going to help you provoke some questions and answers for you to get your stuff in order, to get your things together, because you just never know when the day is going to come. Then you see my business part. I have another business call on there. I'm getting ready to start this website, not website, YouTube channel. It's called 4Ks, Compassionate, Comfort, Caring Connector. We have developed a questionnaire that is licensed. It is secure, and that's why I have the website going across there, that you can actually put your information in. We also do a Zoom call, a 30-minute presentation, to a free presentation to kind of get you stirred up, to ask you some questions. So what Keisha is talking about is very well needed, because again, GoFundMe was not made for it,
Mhm.
for funerals or taking care of certain businesses. And again, she talked about even having an insurance policy where you can borrow cash against itself. I mean, you can't get any more clearer than that. So when COVID came, did it ignite your business, or did it kind of hinder it, or how did you survive during COVID? I call it COVID King. How did you survive during COVID?
Actually, especially with the notary business, it was fine. I've
Good.
been in, I've notarized documents in the back of people's trucks, outside in the rain, in the wind. Um, yeah, on their porch in the dark. So yeah, I make it work.
That's good. No, and you have such a pleasant personality. You
Oh,
know,
thank you.
again, because everything that you're dealing with is service oriented. Because I told you I wanted you to come back so we could talk about what you retired from. I'm not going to tell that secret today, but I want you to come back. But again,
Okay.
this is DJ Straight coming to you live from Praise from the Closet, and I just have to do my little rundown. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, DJ Straight. If Tell people if they missed this interview with Kesha Marshall, she can go on our YouTube channel, DJ Straight, and it will upload it probably in about 20 minutes. Tonight at 7:15, we have nutritional nuggets that comes on about 20 minutes, and she's just giving you great health tips as far as eating. On Thursday, we have coming up uh, two women. They're going to talk about. They have an organization, Being Well While Being Black. I believe that's what it's called. About voting, it's so important. What WGMLB? Not only do we just play music, but we are informative. We have some fun shows. We have something called My Siblings and Me. So if you have at least one sibling or some more siblings, hit us up. We will interview you for each show of siblings. We have a different host. It is so much fun. If you go on our YouTube page, you'll see all of those shows. We even have children reading. So we are family oriented. So for those that are listening, if you have something to say, you could talk about your hobby, your career, your passion, just like Kesha talked about. She's an entrepreneur. We have room for everybody to come on and just, give some great information. One of our new shows coming up in April is called What Do You Think? It's just a panel where they get impromptu questions. Everybody learns on the spot. We're about having fun on Gospel Music Lovers Buffet. You get ready to say something?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, so check out our website. It tells you some of the shows we have, but you'll really find everything on our YouTube channel. Again, I'm going to put Kesha's information up there. Her email address is KeshaMarshall17@gmail.com. She has provided some great information for insurance. If you need a notary, you can also contact her, 202-798-2644. And we have another comment coming in. I like for people to comment because I want them to know that that we pay attention. Hello, Kesha and DJ. Very good interview. Thank you both. You are welcome.
Thank
Rena
you.
Hendry, DJ Straight. If you go to my website, you'll learn how I got this name. STRATE. But we seriously, I love life, and I love having fun, but as well as even giving out other information. So again, Kesha, thank you very much for taking the time to come on, and we're
It
going to
was
talk
my
live.
pleasure. I am so grateful for you.
Good.
I love your channel.
Spread the word. Okay, so I'm telling the truth about all that we
Yes,
do and all
yes.
that we have, because listen, we are community, we're state, we're nation, we're going worldwide. And the bottom line is we're going to spread the love of Jesus all over this place in unconditional formats. And if anybody is listening, every Monday at 6 o'clock, we can pre-tape or go live. We need readers for 1 hour aloud. All you do is come on and read the scriptures of your choice. I don't want you to expound and get no exegeses and hermeneutics and hermeneutics and all that kind of stuff. I'll give you another chance to preach. But we have fun on this station. And thank you, Kesha, for even speaking that again. So are there any last comments from you? Are there any closing words that you would like to say?
Please put something in place, because like DJ Straight said, you never know what can happen. I've heard things like, we don't talk about that. Life insurance is for people that live paycheck to paycheck. I think I've probably heard it all. Regardless, please please protect yourself, and please think about those that you may leave behind. Protect them as well.
Yeah, because you can't spend that money once you close your eyes. You can't spend your money. You can't spend that money. So I'm putting her number up again. And also go to my website, do your business, and you will see some of the information up there. But this has been great. It's a segue. And again, I'll be blasting that other channel. My 4Ks, compassionate, comfort, caring, connected. Somebody said you don't spell that stuff with C's. That's why we did different. We spell it with K's because we do everything different. Everything is legal. We have a professional software developer that we work with to do that. But again, it is time for me to get off because I have to go probably change my uniform. This is my uniform. Change my uniform. So when I come back in here at 7 o'clock for Nutrition Nuggets, everything works well. Kesha, thank you very much. Thank you all
so much,
Kesha, today, and supporting Praise from the Closet with DJ Straight, and on our channel, our radio station, the playlist Blessed Assurance. I have decided to follow Jesus. Jason Crabb won't leave you. I bet most of you guys don't even know who Jason Crabb is. I told you we play gospel. He was with the Gators. We play gospel, hip hop. We play that bluegrass where you we play all that kind of stuff on our station because that's why it's called Gospel Music Lovers Buffet. If all they sold was French fries, you'd be like, this is not a buffet. So you get the ribs and the fish and the caveat. But anyway, let me stop joking. All right, Kesha, thank you very much. And have a wonderful evening. And stay on real quick when we go off.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.